the Warriors felt betrayed by Durant's decision to go to Brooklyn.
Yes, they felt betrayed. Absolutely they did. But now I'm starting to feel betrayed because they won't admit that they felt betrayed. And they're trying to change the narrative. And it's getting disappointing with the Warriors who, from the beginnings, the origins, the good feel story, drafted players, you add a cherry on top in free agency with Kevin Durant, which shouldn't have been a negative, but some deemed it as such. But it was just an amazing story. Went on a dynastic run, respect. But the way that it crumbled and how pride came before the fall and how they weren't transparent with their players, and now they're not being transparent with their fans. And I think that this is a telling sign of why it all crumbled. If they were smart right now to pay it forward, just admit you're heartbroken. Just admit even the greats lose sometimes. And if they could do that, I think they would do wonders for them.
I think they're holding their tongue, though, Marcellus, because they don't want to bicker with Kevin Durant after they did him wrong. And so I think Bill Simmons is onto some truth here. I don't agree with the wording. They took it personal. I think I agree with Rick. I think I heard you kind of say this, Rick. I think they feel like Durant just made one of the dumbest decisions in the world, and they're just sitting there baffled. You left us for Brooklyn?
That's arrogance. That could be arrogance.
But it also there could be some truth on their side because, again, you left us for Brooklyn, the number 2 team in the NBA.
That's not an
in New York. And you left us for Kyrie after the mess he just created in Boston. I think they feel like he made a dumb decision and they can't say it.
Fair. There's also some potential legal issue in play here because of the injury.
Yes.
Where they, to me, are not admitting how they feel is that they run right out there. And it's one thing to say, hey, Kevin, appreciate what you did for us. But to go to the point of saying no one will ever wear his number while Joe Lacob is on watch here, essentially retiring that number, you don't have to jump. That's going too far. That's trying to pretend, and I felt this all along. They've tried to pretend that the relationship was better than it was. And we knew it was troubled from the beginning of the year, and they took issues. This is what really hurts them. He did them the exact same way he did Russell Westbrook in the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they looked at that and said, well, Russell wasn't always the greatest teammate, and you guys butted heads, and you didn't have success there. But you came in here, we welcomed you, we made room for you, even though we were already a championship team, and we got you the rings that you so badly needed to validate yourself. And you still stepped out on us without even giving us an opportunity to say, hey, this is why you should stay. Like, made the decision and never gave them an opportunity to make their case. That's what's hurt them. And what bothers me is, just go ahead. Can we just be honest for once and say, yeah, you know what? We feel like we were done wrong here by the way he did it. What's wrong with that?
Because you can't say it because the guy just tore his Achilles because you misled him.
That plays into Jason's argument,
Fair.
You're not going to start the engagement because you know how this will end.
Fair enough.
Right.
Then don't try to paper it over as if all is well. I'm good with that. Just stay quiet as opposed to trying to convince me of something that I look at the situation and I go, it doesn't feel right.
Stay quiet. I believe in that one. For somebody to pressure you as a grown-up to be able to go do something, I don't know about that one. Right? If I feel as though that I'm not healthy enough to play, I'm not letting anyone talk me into it, right? And I'm not going to blame someone else when something bad happens about it. That's one. That's two. Now, as far as...
So let me just you're putting blame on both sides.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm putting blame on both sides. So then now let's go to the Russell Westbrook thing. Let's go to that. I believe in pattern. If you're not an adult to talk to one of your best friends, your closest friends at the time and teammates at the time when you're going to leave, when you go to Golden State, you think you're going to do the same thing? I would hope you would grow as an individual, right, as a man. But you didn't. You did the same exact thing. So what does that tell me? That you run from issues and you put fires everywhere. That's what it tells me, right? So at the end of the day, I'm looking at this like, oh, yes, Warriors, you do feel a certain way. You do feel betrayed because you had a rough situation with OKC, with Kevin Durant with OKC, and you say, you know what, come with us. we're going to take care of you. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to give you Silicon Valley. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you championships.
And they did.
Yep. And the thing is, it's like once a cheater, always a cheater thing. If this is what you did before, what make you think it's different over here?
Well, let me push back on that pressure argument, because a lot of times we think that our birth certificate graduates us to not feeling pressure. I'm sitting here at 44 years old still feeling pressure in certain things. And I tell you how it really incorporates into your life no matter what your age is. The devil, pressure, negative, whatever you want to call it, only shows up wearing a red suit and a pitchfork once. Then the other time they come at the door, it comes in the way you want it. It comes in the way that can seduce you. It comes in the way that you're going to open the door.
Right.
And Kevin Durant, whether it's vanity, whether it's his success, whether it's just some kind of personal demon he's dealing with, whatever it could be, it's going to come in the way that Durant will open that door. So I don't think that Durant is looking at this situation like, I did you wrong. Because you got to remember, add up all the wrongs he feels, and he says, and I still owe you the apology or the higher road. Who does that?
My thing is,
I wouldn't have done
and
it.
I agree with you, but my thing is, not saying you owe me, but at least give me the respect of meeting with us one last time.
Given?
No, we've given you so much respect. One last time, just meet with us. You can say no all you want.
Okay, but come on, Coutinho, man. This guy, in order to try to win a championship, and he may have been foolish, but he went out there, beat up, and risked his entire financial and career future.
I understand.
And we saw crocodile tears from Bob Myers afterwards. We saw Steve Kerr, the big social, I'm not commenting on, still ain't commented on it, on his role in that at all. And again, it's just like what Marcellus just said in terms of Golden State dressed up and came to KD in a way that he opened up his doors, and you know what? He got played. He tore his Achilles. His future's in doubt. And if this guy's a little pissed off right now and wants to just be a little ice cold right now, I don't blame him.
I don't blame you for being ice cold, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying everybody takes a page out of Kawhi Leonard's book. But at the end of the day, listen, if you got hurt or if you didn't get hurt, I'm gonna ask y'all three this. Will Golden State have still signed you?
Allegedly.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
they would have signed him.
They would have.
They would have signed him. So that means that's telling me like a Kawhi Leonard thing. If I'm not healthy enough, I'm a grown man. That's one. Two is the OKC situation. Why don't you give them at least a chance to say no?
Let me say one thing, Rick, before. You know they had no choice but to give him the money after that injury. Because if they don't, nobody's going.
Guilted into that.
The other part is, yes, I'm getting the money. I would have got the money anyway. You've taken a year from me, and you misled me. If things are as we have been told,
Andre Iguodala,
you misled me on what was going to happen, and now I'm going to miss a year of basketball. And for a guy like Kevin Durant, where hooping is all that he thinks about, that's a hard thing to face. I have no problem with his decision to go play for the Nets. It's a free world. He's earned that.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. We had this debate yesterday about weak moves, strong moves, whatever, but it's your move, and we'll ultimately, it'll be determined whether it was a smart move or whether it wasn't. I am not going to fault him for that. What we don't know is, did the Warriors go to meet him? Did Steph fly there in hopes that he could have a meeting and turn him?
Right.
Or, and did KD say, yeah, hey, come, I'll listen? Or was that something that the Warriors were doing on their own? Because as I look at it, KD made it pretty clear long before that last day what he was intending to do. So if they're coming in for a Hail Mary at the last second and he decides not to let that happen, I can't fault him for that.
I'm going to defend KD and the Warriors in this scenario. The Warriors had no idea the injury was going to happen. And so if the Warriors said, damn, now that he's been injured and he's going to have to sit out a year, maybe we have a shot at retaining him. He's let us know all year that he was leaving, but maybe now injured, we'll be the guys that love you and rehabilitate you for this next year. We'll give you a max contract, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that made them think they had a shot and a chance. And I got to say this, and I'm defending KD for being irritated. I don't like the decision of leaving. I don't like the decision of going to Brooklyn and just winging it with Kyrie Irving and an organization that's never won anything. I don't like that decision. Sometimes, again, and this is very tough because what is he, 29, 30 years old? I certainly didn't know this at 30. I didn't know this at 30. But sometimes you got to work with
Let me squeeze
people
this
you
in.
don't like. No, go ahead.
This is an amazing decision by him because he just watched Kawhi Leonard give a organization a championship and what that did for his legacy, despite being polarizing just the day before, right? So then KD's like, I'm not getting my fair due winning these championships in Golden State.
True.
So you had to go somewhere. That's why there was a conversation to Kawhi and him to the Clippers possibly. You have to go somewhere, and it has to go from 0 to 60. And that's what Brooklyn gives him an opportunity. I think what happened with KD was Steph, that was a cosmetic Hail Mary. In football terms, this is why you do the hook and lateral. There's times when you say, hey, we only got one play left, let's throw the Hail Mary. And someone finally said, that ain't gonna work. You know what to do? Throw it 5 yards and just keep throwing it around and hopefully you get somewhere. That was cosmetic. That wasn't genuine.
And
on top of that, the Brooklyn Nets doctor did the surgery. They already told us where he was going. I'm sorry.
And if I were KD, I would have thrown a different Hail Mary. I think their minds was made up on New York a year ago. And then I think, again, this is speculation.
And that's why they got irritated.
This is speculation on my part. I think Rich Kleiman didn't get what he wanted from the New York Knicks. And that's why KD's with the Brooklyn Nets. Instead, and to me, my backup plan would have been the LA Clippers and Steve Ballmer and Doc Rivers and an organization that's on this kind of trajectory. That would have been my play.
So one